All right. Today we are going to study about what are the objectives of economic development. So the students are the ones who have actually not seen what is the meaning of economic development. If you're unaware of that, you can just go back to my channel and scroll down a bit. You'll find a video which is separately made on economic development topic. Refer that video once, come back here and listen to this explanation. Things will be very easy for you in terms of understanding. So let us start with the objectives of economic development. When you understand what do you mean by objectives, if you call this objectives in Hindi, you call with the word उद्देश्य. That means आपकी कंट्री का अगर आपको इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट अचीव करना हो, सो व्हाट आर दी ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, आपकी कंट्री के उद्देश्य क्या होने चाहिए, एक सिटीजन ऑफ अ कंट्री के उद्देश्य क्या होने चाहिए. बिकॉज इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट इज़ नॉट अ सिंगल हैंड एफर्ट. It is not that government only has to achieve economic development. It is not that only government has to try for achieving economic development, but it also says that the people of the nation, the people of the country should also contribute towards achieving the objectives of economic development. So यहाँ पर दोनों का contribution बहुत important रहेगा. How the government works and also how the people take the instructions and how the people understand the importance of economic development. So let us see what is economic development objective, or you can call objectives. So the very first objective of economic development is high rate of growth. Now when I ask you, how do you actually grow? When you actually refer to the concept of growth, it doesn't mean that your height grows when your age extends, when your age grows. When you become older and older, your height grows, and probably your weight also might grow, depending on what food or what stuff you actually eat. Now, when you are actually talking about growth here, it is not about the physical growth what we are actually studying of an individual. Here we are actually studying about how an individual can make his life standard when he is actually living in the society. So what are the things he should actually aim for? And not only individual of the country, it is also how the government is actually functioning for making the things available to the people which actually help them to go on the path of economic development. Let us see here what is given. With a view to bring about an improvement in the standard of living, all the developing economies, including India, are striving hard to achieve high rates of economic growth. See, the other day we have seen what is the meaning of economic growth here. Now, if you actually want to go on the path of economic development, the very first thing you actually require is money. Let me give you an example here. Suppose if you want education, how do you get education? If you want to get admission in good college, if you want to gather good knowledge, if you want to get good teachers, if you want to get good environment in which you can grow properly, how do you actually get that? You actually get it in terms of your effort, what you actually do it in order to make your life better. So I'm not saying that any teacher who is actually teaching in any of the institution is good or bad. It's the only thing that the way of teaching is something different that student doesn't able to grasp that properly. But no teacher teaches anything wrong. Let me make it very clear to all the students here. So here, how you actually judge here you just want to have your balanced amount of income in your hand. If you want to have a good education, if you want good house, how do you get it? Do you get it with some magical powers? I don't think so. You get it when you actually work hard for it. When you get a good amount of income in your hand, only then you can make a house of your own. So any economic development path you actually want to go, any department, the very first thing what you require is amount in your hand. So in this similar way, when the government wants to move on the path of economic development, the very first thing what they require here is national income. If you have good amount of national income, only the country can think about prospering ahead. then when you have a good amount of per capita income in your hand, when you earn good enough, then you can think about, you strive hard for changing your standard of living. That's how it goes. So it says till the year 1980, the average annual growth rate of GDP was 3.73% against the average annual growth rate of population at 2.5%. Now here comes the statistics. What are the percentages the development is going, and what are the percentages the population is actually growing? According to the Malthusian theory, we have already observed, we have already viewed it, that Malthus says that in his theory of population, the population grows in the form of geometric progressions. He says population grows in the form of geometric progression, and the means to satisfy the wants, that grows in the form of arithmetic progressions. Let me put you in simple way, in this way. So he says that because development goes very slowly when it comes to developing country like India, but in order to provide all the facilities to all the citizens of the country, yes, the country has to go very fast, and the country has to achieve all the things, means country has to develop all the areas in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of construction, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of transport, in terms of power, electricity, all the things the country has to develop. Only then the path of economic development can be achieved. Hence, the per capita income grew only around 1%. If you actually see the statistics of India, you might come across that the per capita income, what the single individual earns on an average, is very low. And that's probably might be the reason because of which we are very low in terms of growth rate when it comes to national income. So the government should actually find out certain ways, because it is not an effort which has to be done from one side. It's not only government, it's also the responsibility of a citizen equally to actually understand how they can actually uplift their standard by working in any private institutions, by starting something of their own, because government is giving a lot of opportunities to entrepreneurship. Any young person who is having ability and talent in order to do the work properly can open the entrepreneur a company of his own. So that's how the thing goes. The main thing here is that how to achieve the high growth rate. So hope the point high growth rate is clear to you all. Coming to the next objective, number 2, economic self-reliance. Now, what do you understand by this word self-reliance? Self-reliance says that you have to become self-dependent rather than depending on anybody else. There are a lot of things on which our country depends on other countries in terms of imports. India depends on most of the products to get it from other countries in the form of imports, and there are a lot of products which India exports to. It not only says it's not only one side that we only go for imports in large number, but when you actually go with the tally of amounts, what we actually go for more in number, it's the imports are more and exports are less in India. There are many products which we actually exported. Rice we actually exported. We export soya bean products. We export turmeric. We export tobacco. We export tea, the leading producers in tea, in terms of tea. So there are many products which actually India exports to the countries which come outside the jurisdiction border of our country. So the target of government should be, if they want to achieve or if they want to get the target or get the economic development, then the country has to actually walk on the path of self-reliance instead of depending on anybody else to make the things or to buy the things from. They should actually develop the method or procedure to make the things of their own, so that the money what they are utilizing the money what they are actually investing in terms of making it, in order to making the product ready, should be there within the country. It should not go outside the country. So that is the main funda, or that is the main aim behind going for self-reliance. Now let us see what is actually being given here. Self-reliance is the ability to do the things or make decisions by yourself without needing other people to help you. That's what we have discussed just now. In Indian economic context, it implies that dependence on foreign aid should be minimum as possible. That's what we should actually reduce the imports or foreign help in whatever the department we actually take it, in the form of imports or in the form of grants, whatever we actually depend on foreign countries, that has to be reduced considerably. It is based upon access to and management of material and monetary assets. Now what you actually use it and what amount you actually spend it on purchasing those things which you are unable to make it, that has to be minimum. That has to be in such a way that you should actually find out a way quickly so that you can make those things of your own rather than depending on anybody else. So we have made a considerable attempt in that. There's a company with the name Patanjali which has been started in India, which is actually making an attempt in order to make all those things available in India to all the citizens of the country. So that the amount what you're actually spending, that amount should not go outside India. It should be there within the nation, within the country itself. It provides the basis for durable solutions, a foundation working towards the Millennium Development Goals. If you actually achieve, or if you actually target to attain self-reliance, if you actually aim to get self-reliance, so what are the actual benefits of it? You'll get durable solutions. Durable solutions here, it means you'll get solutions in a permanent way. That means you don't have anybody to complain for. If you have ordered something, you got some cheap quality products, the quality of product is not so good. If you actually import it, things might happen at that in that way too. But if you're actually making the good of your own, then you can only go for the best, because here a lot of people who are existing in India, who stay in India, here the persons who are actually able to create anything of quality will have a very good market here. So the things has to be understood from the people point of view too. And if you do that, then you will be going for Millennium Development Goals. That means you can go for a very long duration. You can go or set up your business for a very long time. And with your business, all the citizens of the nation can be benefited. And that's how the country can be benefited. That's what it says, the concept of self-reliance. Let us start the next point, which says social justice. Now, what do you mean by social justice here? Let us see. Social justice means equitable distribution of wealth and income of the country among different sections of the society. When you actually see what is the amount of distribution of income in the rural areas, and when you actually see what is the amount of distribution of the people in urban areas, rural and urban, if you actually compare both, you find there is a lot of difference in the income distribution of both the places. Now, how do you think the distribution difference has come here? It is like when you actually see from the work point of view, when you actually see on the basis of ability and knowledge, of course, there is a difference between people. The people who are skilled, the people who are talented, who are knowledgeable will get the good amount of income in their hand after they complete the task or at the end of every month, whatever the mode of payment that could be. So the persons who are actually not having good amount of knowledge and the persons who are not having skill, they will be given less amount of work, less amount of income within themselves. So here the thing goes on the basis of knowledge and talent or skill what you actually carry along with yourself. So here social justice goes with the concept or goes with the understanding that whatever or wherever might be the area, there are certain areas, there are certain works under which even the person who is having skill and talent this is usually noted when it comes to labor. Doing any job in any of the company, doing any job in any of the iron and steel company, who is actually having a skill to mold the iron rods and all, who do that kind of work. I'm giving just an example of that. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of areas in which the income distribution is not done properly. So what happens there is that when you actually go with the payment, he goes, when it comes to applying his abilities and efforts and talent and knowledge, he applies there to 100%. But when you come to the point of view of receiving the income at the end of putting all the hard work or putting all the efforts, you get a very minimum there. So that's how you lose interest in doing certain things. That has to be reduced, because there are various reasons why people migrate from one country to another country. But out of all the reasons, this is also one of the reason why people choose foreign countries when they are having skill and talent, because the way they actually pay on the basis of your abilities is extremely good. Now when you come to India, here there are certain areas, there are certain aspects, or there are certain reason because of which the people in India are always underrated in certain areas. Because in one way we can say that there's a stiff competition in India, because of which you will be paid on the basis of competition. That is one of the reason. Second thing is, there are certain companies which actually extract the work from you, but they actually don't give the equal amount of income to you when it comes to rural areas, or when it also comes to urban areas, at both the places. And when it comes to rural areas, there are most of the people who actually migrate from village area to cities in search of job. And when they actually put in all their 100% efforts in terms of work, but they don't get the salary what they actually expect, and they actually keep themselves quiet, thinking that they are getting something which is always better than nothing. So this is the belief, or this is the fundamental thing, or this is the things which is being actually noted in India quite a few times, which actually has to be stopped. Now in India we find that a large number of people are poor, while few lead a luxurious life. The 5-year plan in India have highlighted certain aspects of social justice. They are, let us see what is that. Sticking strictly to democratic principles in the political structure of the country. Now, if you want to go on the path of economic development, you should do certain things, or such things which actually legalized by the government. You cannot do certain things, or those things which are said illegal by the government. Now in order to get huge amount of national income, or in order to uplift your standard of living, let's just take the example of standard of living. If you actually want to uplift your standard of living, you're murdering or killing someone, and you're actually taking that amount what you actually take it for murdering. Okay? So what happens here is that if you do it, or you uplift your standards by following the wrong way, you're not on the right path. You're not actually uplifting your economic development. You're actually putting your country forward in terms of criminal record, which is very wrong. That has to be stopped. Which is said correctly, which is legalized by the government, only those things has to be followed, because right and wrong is actually being viewed by everyone in the country. Next, establishment of social and economic equity and removal of regional disparities. Now there should be a equality when it comes to economy, and when it also comes to social. There should not be any kind of discrimination between the societies in which the people live. We should not say that the people who are actually living in that society are very poor. We should not say that the people who are actually belonging to that area will never develop. The opportunity for development should be given to all. The only thing is, they don't understand it properly. You should actually go and make them understand what is the value of economic development. In the beginning, you might find there are a lot of difficulties in order to get economic development, but when you actually aim or see the result of economic development, it is going to be very fruitful. because of which the rural areas are actually striving hard in order to understand what benefit they get it in future. Because most of the people, it's a human tendency, they actually want the benefits to get it urgently and quickly within themselves. So that has to be understood by all the people, and there should be a removal of regional disparities. There should not be any kind of difference when it comes to regions. It is not like the people who are actually living in metropolitan cities and cosmopolitan cities only have a better life. The people who are actually living in other states, leaving the metropolitan and cosmopolitan cities, also have a right to live their life in a luxurious way, also have a right to education, also have a right to actually work in any of the MNC company and lift their standard of living, and also make their standard of living in such a way that you lead a very modern life. Everybody has the right to do that. But in order to go for it, there are areas where regional disparity, it's a kind of disease which is being actually observed in India, because it is said that people of certain regions who actually undervalue themselves, they actually don't want to come out of the thinking what they have been doing it previously, because of which their life doesn't change quickly and they actually stagnate there itself where they were previously. That has to be changed, because if people are actually not coming forward, it is the initiative of government to actually come forward and find out certain ways to motivate them. And it is also not only government, there should be effort from the private individuals who are actually financially sound enough, because since we are a populated second most populated country in the world, making the things available to all the citizens of the country, making life sophisticated and easy for everyone, it's not an easy thing, and it is not a single hand done job. There has to be many people coming forward collectively and doing this thing by taking the responsibility on behalf of government too. That's how it goes. The last point says that efforts to raise the conditions of backward and depressed classes. So there should always be a constant effort in order to increase the standard of living when it comes to backward areas. When you actually see the people who belong to the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, such kind of people who are actually deprived of all the rights, who are actually being uh, not given most of the opportunities, who actually are backward in terms of regional development, who are actually backward in terms of standard of living, who is backward certain way in terms of education too in some areas, they that should not be actually noticed in India. That has to be removed, and everybody's standard of living should be improved, because of which only then the economic development objective can be achieved. So that's how this point says. Coming to the next point, point number 4 in objectives of economic development. Let us see what's given here. It says about economic stability. Now, how can you consider, how can you call your economy of any nation to be very stable? Stability can be achieved by any nation when there is no inflationary ups and downs. When the country doesn't land into a problem where there is sustained rise in the general price level in the economy, you call such situation as stability. If there are inflation noticed in any country, then the prices of all the things which actually belongs to a common man's reach might also increase. When there is inflation trend observed in the country, there are a lot of things which actually purchased by a middle class family, which is actually purchased by a poor family or poor people, becomes costly, because of which the people actually feel themselves that they are actually below the poverty line, and because of which the standard of living of the people remains lower. That has to be stopped. The economic stability should be achieved. In what way that can be achieved? That's the question that arises now. Economic stability can be achieved only when you are actually becoming self-reliant. Self-reliant, that is self-reliance concept, which we have just discussed a couple of minutes before. the same concept lead us to the path of economic stability. Because if you spend more amount of money in purchasing something from outside the country, if you spend more amount of money on imports, then you will be having less amount of money left with you, which you can spend it on decreasing the amount of inflation which has increased. Now, this is one of the method, and this is the only method which is best considered in order to reduce inflation rate and in order to make our country stable on the path of economic development. That's what it says, the economic stability point. Now, coming to the very last point of this answer, that is inclusive growth. What do you mean by inclusive growth? When any area, when you actually select it, see, when you actually want to achieve something, all the targets cannot be achieved together. There has to be a selection on certain main issues. If you go one after the other, one problem after the other, then things become very easy for you. So here, when you actually aim to remove or eradicate the problems from our country, then there are two very big problems that are actually making issues or creating problems for most of the people in our country. And those two problems are, one is jobless condition or unemployment situation. Second is people who are living in poverty. And the fundamental line you actually come across in most of the books when it comes to India's economy, here it is being considered, or here it is being said, that in India, rich is getting richer and poor is becoming poorer. There are certain reasons or XYZ reasons behind. We are not going to go in depth of it, but the path of development goes when you are actually getting job and when you are actually moving your standard above the line of poverty, when you are raising your standard of living. Let us see what else is being given here. Inclusive growth means economic growth that creates employment opportunities and help in reducing poverty. It includes providing equality of opportunity, empowering people through education and skill development. See, if an individual is being educated, if only one person is educated and he is the only person who understands the things. If you take the example of any village, in that village, suppose there are only one person who is actually educated in the entire village. So you might wonder what could be the state or what could be the condition of that particular village could be. For anything which actually comes in the form of English to them, they actually run towards him. You must have watched in many of the movies, and you must have watched in very very popular movie with the name Krantiveer, where Nana Patekar says, "आ गए मेरी मौत का तमाशा देखने, कल तुम्हारे साथ भी ऐसा ही होगा." You must have heard that very famous dialogue said by him. So it is not the individual alone who has to get developed. Are you getting the point? It is also all the people of the country should equally develop, because the spark of development should be generated in all the people. Only then the economic development objective can be achieved. Developing only one state, getting the development only in metropolitan cities and cosmopolitan cities is not the solution for the problem. But the development it should come in such a way that all the states are equally developed in terms of standard of living, in terms of literacy, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of corruption. All the things should go equally. Then only we can say that India is moving on the path of economic development, or any other developing country they are moving on the path of economic development can be said. Now, it also encompasses a growth process that in environment friendly aims for good governance and helping creation of gender sensitive society. Now, it also says that the growth process when it comes to development of the nation has to be friendly. It is not by force, it is by freedom. You should actually explain the people. You should find out ways in order to make the people understand it in a very cool manner without any force methods to make them understand this. And only then you can move on the path of economic development. And as we have seen in the meaning of economic development, it is a target which cannot be achieved within a short duration of 1 or 2 years. It takes usually a duration of 20 to 25 years minimum to come on the path of economic development, because we have to focus on a lot of areas when it comes to economic development rather than economic growth. So that's it when it comes to objectives of economic development. That's it in this answer. Hope the meaning of economic development and also the objectives of economic development is pretty much clear to you all. We'll meet in the next video with yet another topic. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much.